Lady Luna starts out in the zodiac sign of Aquarius. By the 9th, she enters Pisces, getting ready for a full moon on the 10th. Then by the 11th, she's in Aries, giving us that emotional boost that is very much needed. By the 14th, she's in Taurus, and this is our full moon outlook for the week. And that was just a glimpse at what Lady Luna is up to. Let's see what the rest of our planets are sending to us. Start over. Welcome to the AstroTarot show. I am your celestial host, Serona Rose. You just got a glimpse of what Lady Luna will be doing this upcoming week, before us for the week of September the 7th through September the 14th of 2022. Now, without further ado, let's see what's going on in the rest of our celestial heavens. On the 9th of September, Mercury will go retrograde at 9 degrees of Libra, and he will go back to 24 degrees of Virgo, and that will be, he will come in retrograde, begin his direct motion on October the 1st through the 2nd, depending on where you are. So I want to explain a little bit about the retrograde. The planet is not physically moving backwards. It's an optical illusion, and what happens is our Earth has passed it, so it appears to be going backwards. In essence, it's not. We're going faster than it. So the Mercury goes retrograde 3 to 4 times a year. And this is our fastest moving planet. So he always travels next to the sun as well. So if you look in your birth chart, if your sun is well into your birth sign, then Mercury is probably the same sign as your sun sign. It's not too far behind. But Mercury brings, but this retrograde will bring Mercury back closer to the sun. And so during this retrograde, it will appear to us to get closer to the sun. And what that means is that the sun is going to be receiving some fresh insight on what is going on. So this could also mean some energy, what has been called downloads. Some people refer to it as downloads, or even lie codes. Some people refer to that. But this is a good time that we can get some, if we can meditate on that, we can get some insights from the sun. This energy, it can bring us, if we are, using our intuition, that is. So we will receive a fresh insight on what is coming out of this Mercury consciousness. Now, most people, the Mercury retrograde is dreaded because it does mess with our communications, all forms of them, and it does mess with our commerce. It messes with anything that relates messages or working, those working parts. But it is a gift to us in that we can become more conscious of our life, of where our minds are, and those things that we are, mentally centered on. Where do we keep our mind? What are we mentally focusing on every day? Mercury retrograde also helps us to not become overwhelmed as well, because Mercury, it tells us to slow down. It's time to slow down and smell the roses. But not only that, he's saying, hey, you missed something. You need to go back. There is something you missed and you must find it. So Mercury retrograde, we're going back over the path that we just walked, right? And with this, while he is in Libra, he's looking over things about his immediate environment, those things that he does every day. It is a time for us to reevaluate, reprioritize, reassess. It is a time for us to redirect our mental energy in the direction that we want it to go. Now, this is also going to affect our throat chakra. And, what have you been holding back? Are you repressing thoughts? Things such as that. Especially right now in our world, a lot of speech is being suppressed. We're having this done. Someone putting their hand over our throat chakra. So we are having that. So we need to make sure that we are voicing our concerns and voicing our cares and things like that. This is a time that you will want to check in with yourself, feel your body, and see what's going on. Excuse me. So last year, 2021, Mercury went retrograde in Libra at 10 degrees to 25 degrees. So this year, it's going to be he's going to start out at 9 degrees Libra and going to work his way back to 24 degrees of Virgo. So in whatever house that is going to take place in is where the energy is going to be worked. So the house has changed so much, so it's really, to pinpoint a house is really not feasible. If you want to pinpoint it with your birth chart, you can look at these degrees, 29 degrees of Libra to 24 degrees of Virgo. So you can see what house that is on your chart. So this is about renovating. Yeah, we are renovating some things. During this time, plans may change as well. Something that you thought you may have dealt with before may come back. And you may have to deal with it once again. That includes old relationships, so watch out for that. This is, again, we are slowing down. We can work with this energy by allowing it to unfold first. One thing I know many people will say is Mercury retrograde is not a time to sign contracts and do business deals and things like that. Well, we can't always not do that. There's some things that we have to act on pretty quick to make it happen. What Mercury warns is reading the fine print, because you need to have complete clarity over what you are signing during this time. Clarity is really heightened, so you need to verify the data. Whatever information you see, communication, verify that data. Make sure there's clarity for you. I read books in my path, of course, but I always look at other things as well, because I want to know what they're saying. It's always good to have a different outlet, sometimes that believes differently than you, to go and read and listen and, try to understand, because that'll give you that different perception that is going to be needed. So again, slow down. Make sure there is clarity. Also, with your communications, you may find yourself having to repeat yourself a couple times. And I'm one of those, I hate to repeat myself. But clarity, again, is going to be very important for this, this Mercury retrograde. Communication, it has to be clarified. That is the only way that we are going to have clear communication, is if we both understand each other, right? Libra is about socializing, and it's about partnerships. It's those one-on-one connections. So there could be different functions that we were going to getting canceled. There could be it could be different things, different socializing events, even weddings. Weddings could get canceled at this time. when Mercury is in retrograde in Libra, he wants us to bring things back into balance. That is what Libra is about. Libra is about balance. And with the Virgo sun, it's about bringing things into balance in a more practical way. So, practical way. This is going to have us looking at our relationships to make sure that we have clear understandings in our relationships, to make sure that we are all on the same page together, as well as we are going to determine the value of the relationships in our life. This is going to be a time of renegotiations. So those of you that may be in court situations, legal problems and legal issues, things like that, there can be some renegotiation going on. But remember, this is all about balance. Libra likes the win-win situation, okay? They like an even exchange of energy. So, give and take. And with these negotiations, there could be coming some compromise that needs to be made. And this is on both sides. This is, again, Libra is win-win for both parties. They want them both to win. And that's the ultimate thing. But sometimes we have to step back, and we really have to get real and practical with ourselves. And what do we want to happen? If we want this, then we're going to have to, get out of our ego just a little bit and make this happen. Make these balances happen. This is your responsibility as well. Choose your battles. Choose your battles. So this aspect, or Mercury retrograde, is going to have an opposition to Jupiter in Aries. Now, Mars is also in Libra, opposing Jupiter. So this is getting clear on what we want and what we need in our lives, as well as who we are. Aries is the self, and Libra is others. These are opposites. Libra is the opposite of Aries, okay? So while Aries is the self, Libra is about others, and it's a balancing, right? So this is going to amplify what you need in your relationships as well. It's about what really matters to you. And we're looking in our relationships. Are you able to be comfortable in your relationships? Are you able to, is this a relationship that you can healthily be yourself? And we have to look at those. Some of us that are in our, path, is not always, if you're in an esoteric, occult, just anything off the mainstream, you are often looked at a little bit differently. And when you come home, especially in your relationships, you should not feel that uncomfortability. So we're really going to be looking at how we can own who we are and, just feel good about who we are. Also, this is going to, this is helping us step up. This is actually going to help us step up in our lives. Every step matters. So this opposition, Mercury will oppose Jupiter in Aries 3 times. That will be on the 3rd of September at 6 degrees, the 19th of September at 4 degrees, and then on October the 12th at 1 degree. So, and that is in Libra, by the way. So yeah, this is really helping us step up and really get tapping us into ourselves, our security within ourselves, because that's where, we look too much on the outside for those things that we need to be looking inward for. So, yeah, we need to learn how to ask the questions that we need answers to. Sometimes there's a right way and wrong ways of answering questions, and I'm sure that you've heard that before. We're also going to be we're being advised to stop giving ourselves away to those things that are unworthy. If we are having to drown, if we are just draining ourselves of energy and then not getting anything back, we really have to work on that. Again, Mercury has to deal with commerce, and that is the exchange of energy, okay? So we also have to look at being ourselves in relationships. Some of us become so invested in the relationship that we lose sight of ourselves. We put ourselves on the back burner and put everyone else forward. You shouldn't have to lose yourself in a relationship just to be in a relationship. You shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to be yourself, and in balanced, healthy relationships, they have room for all of who you are. So we have to look at that. Again, we are looking at balance, and slow down on communication as well. You can find yourself, again, I just talked about this a second ago, but you can find yourself having to explain yourself or repeat yourself. Slow down when you are communicating. That way people can absorb what you're saying. So Mercury starts out going, he stations and goes direct on the 9th of September at 9 degrees Libra, and he will go into Virgo on September the 23rd, and then he'll travel back to 24 degrees of Virgo until October the 12th, and then he will re-enter Libra on October the 11th, and that's when he'll have his last opposition with Jupiter in Aries. So when Mercury enters Virgo, this is going to be an energetic change. Virgo is very, they're focused. So our energy is going to narrow, and it is going to be more focused type energy. Virgo is our analysis. They like to figure out how and what are the mechanics of making this work. So this is going to, again, shift that energy a bit. So during this time, Mercury will be trine with Pluto, that is also retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. And let's see, he did have a trine back on August the 22nd. And then he'll have another trine on September the 27th, October the 7th, and October the 8th. So this is going to bring some mental clarity to us. It's going to be, Pluto is transformation, and Capricorn is like our structures, and it's also about it's what lasts for the long run, what is going to last for years and years to come, for in long-term thoughts. So here we could have a new way at seeing an old problem. We can take what is old and we can, let go and get rid of what doesn't work, and then use the good core parts and rebuild. Remember, Pluto only destroys in order to build, because that's what he does. He transforms. He takes away what is no longer needed, what is just not beneficial and healthy for us anymore, so that we can create new. So again, mental clarity. Virgo is Virgo is very much represents this Mercury energy, and Mercury is at home in Virgo. And what is interesting is that Virgo is co-ruled by Mercury and Chiron. And that's a little interesting because Virgo is Mercury is at home in Virgo. Okay, this is where he can breathe and he can be himself. And then we get the trine with Pluto and Capricorn, and that gives us a boost of truth as well as power. When Mercury goes back into Virgo, that's going to help us see exactly what we missed. And this is going to be pinpointed energy, okay? This is pinpointed. So during that time, I think I've said before in another episode, where the last few months of this year are really going to be intense. There's going to be a lot of changes, and this is one of them. Something is going to be brought to clarity that that we missed, and it's going to be pinpointed. And this is a long-term trine, and that means that this is something that we need to understand. When things happen for a moment, this energy is trying to send us a message saying, look, you are missing something. You've got to see this. So this is shifting our focus, okay? It's about organizing, filing. It's about realizing those things that we have seen, those things that were said, and as Mercury retrograde, we're going back over that. So we're having to say, okay, wait a minute, that was then, and that was then. And we have to put these together so we don't forget. Our life is so fast. And I mean, we're constantly going. And it is so easy for us to miss something. If someone says a word or, you know, that could really change something. You could be talking to somebody and not fully listen to them because you can be so preoccupied in everything else you're doing, and therefore you miss an opportunity. Stuff like that. So we're going to have to step back and look at the bigger picture. That is major. You cannot solve anything when you are in the thick of it. You have to step back, and you have to take a moment to just to let things settle. You ever been stuck on a problem and you're just like, oh my gosh, you're just going around and around. You're like, I can't figure this out. I cannot figure this out for the life of me. And then you'll go take a shower, go get something to eat, go for a walk, whatever. And then it just comes to you. It's like, oh my goodness. You allow things to settle. You allow things to process within you. So in this, something is going to click. Something's clicking for us. Something that is very important. And something that we are going to understand. And in this click, we can't let it go crazy. Remember, we're in Virgo. So Virgo, we're not going crazy. We're going to focus this energy on creating in a tangible form. We're going to use this shift to create something that not destructive, but productive in a tangible form. So this is going to bring us some changes indeed. Again, renovation and transformation. It's time to, you know, fix our house. You know, our body is our house, right? And going into that, this is also about taking care of our bodies as well. We need to start listening to them. We need to, you know, this is about healing diseases as well. We could be looking at doing things in our daily life that's going to be really practical and simple, something that we're going to be able to integrate easily in our life. Our skills, there's some skills that we may have that we want to work on. Those of you who, you know, want to play the piano better, want to paint better, want to whatever better, right? This will be a really good time to brush up on those skills, to get better, to improve. This can go into lifestyle changes as well, eating differently, looking at your body differently. Our bodies are our vessels, so looking at them differently to transform them for the long term in healthy and balanced ways. Again, balanced, healthy. This is so important. We could be finding ourselves that, being more healthy and taking better care of ourselves. Again, this is going to be more practical, healthy ways that we can put into our lives. As simply as, how we get up, brush our teeth, or, then we go get some coffee, all that kind of stuff. It needs to be that simple so we don't feel like we are going out of our way. Now, on the next day, on September the 10th, that is when we are going to have our full moon in Pisces at 5:59 a.m. That's Eastern time. You will have to adjust the time for you wherever you are in this beautiful world. And this is going to take place at 17 degrees and 41 minutes. And we would normally round that up to 18 degrees, but the exact opposition of the sun, because that's what a full moon is. It's opposite the sun, and that actual full moon will be at 17 degrees and 14 minutes. So the sun, the Virgo sun, he's looking for new solutions to make life better in practical ways, to improve our life in practical ways. Again, you hear me saying practical, because Virgo is not all about all of that. It wants practical, it wants organized, it wants to run in this, it's a well-oiled machine, and every part, it needs to be running in a certain way. So this full moon is, the sun is offering us focus and responsibility for this full moon in Pisces. So Pisces is saying, you know what, it is time to step back and detach and just to listen to our intuition and listen to our senses. In Pisces, our intuition is going to be strong. Our senses are going to be strong. And he's saying, you know what? It is time to step back and to just be. This is good for the full moon. If you like to do anything for the full moon, this is a good time for meditation. This is a good time to unplug from everyday life, to step away from the mental, the monkey mind, I call it, and to, go out in nature where you can disconnect. If that's not an option to you, you can do it at home, do it in your bedroom, do it in your bathroom. Set yourself up a sanctuary in your home that you can go to, even if it's just a corner, because y'all, I have had a corner that I used as my little space. It was my space, and every time I would walk there, my mindset would change, and it was really good for me. It worked really good for me. So we need to meditate and sit with and in our intuition, and listen to, feel our senses, to feel our body. The moon will also conjunct Neptune, that's also retrograde, and just a few hours after the exact full moon. And this is going to bring us some more intuitive energy. You see, Neptune in Pisces is where we surrender, right? But the sun being in Virgo is trying to figure out how it all works. It's like, wait a minute, I got to do this. This is, so caught up in the mind and the little details of it. And it's wanting to know, how can we change? How can we do this? And this placement says, detach. Detach from the mental pressure for the weekend, for a day, but just do it. If taking a whole weekend is perfect, because it takes time. We don't have a lot of time, unfortunately, in our world today. We don't have a lot of time to ourselves. So we need to create that time. We need to make that happen. We don't have to figure everything out right now. We don't. We can step back and take a moment, get a fresh mindset, take some deep breaths, right? And come back at a later time when we have that fresh, clean mind, so to speak. We've let our mind air out, and we've let our hair down, and that sort of thing. So please give yourself time to step back and detach yourself from the mental, physical world. Detach yourself from that. Be with yourself. Be conscious. Feel it. How does your feet feel? How does your legs feel? How is your stomach feeling? How does your environment feel? How does your relationships with people make you feel on an intuitive side? This is a time that our dream state will be heightened. So please, whatever you do, make sure that you are writing those dreams down. And you know the difference between the dreams that mean something and just the monkey mind smush of dreams. You know the difference. Make sure you're making those notes. Neptune represents the higher self, okay? And the connection to the higher self. So this is a really good time to connect with your higher self and connect to source, especially Pisces. Pisces is that energy of all. It's that collective of consciousness where we all are one, right? So step back, tap in, recharge your mind, your body, your soul, recharge that. And connect with your higher self to make sure that you're making decisions that are healthy and balanced in your life. When you're running on fear, when you're running on stress, and all of this other distractions that we have in this world, you are not going to make healthy, balanced decisions for yourself. If you're operating in survival mode, you're not going to be making good decisions for yourself. Survival mode should just be only for a certain period, not for extended use, okay? So after the moon passes Neptune, that is when our psychic senses are going to have an uptick. Those of you that are sensitive, that feel these things, that already know and see that sort of thing, even those that don't really want to admit it, this is going to be a very highly psychic charged time for you. But this is going, this energy will connect us back to April when Jupiter had a conjunction with Neptune when they met up. So they met up at 23 and 24 degrees in Pisces. So this is going to take us back to that time as well. And we could see maybe something that we were working on back in that time, maybe coming through at this time. And we can, a lot of things that will be coming through are going to be grounding into the physical. And this is actually going to seem pretty magical for some people. It's just going to be like, it just all worked out. It just boom, and it was there. So we're going to go back to April and see what was going on back then in your life. Also, the sun and the moon will have a connection with the North Node in Uranus. And this is going to be very supportive energy. And this is going to connect us to July and August when Mars conjunct both the North Node and Neptune. So we can look back at that time and see what was going on as well. This connection here could bring us some big life changes. This could set us into a new journey. New possibilities will become available to us. And this is about a time that's going to it's going to allow us reflection so that we can make those changes that needs to be made, and we can integrate them. You know, making changes, you know, if we don't integrate them and help them, how can we do this in a simple way? Because remember, Virgo is about practicality. Let's be practical about this. Let's don't go overboard. You know, with Mercury retrograde, it's like, okay, calm down. We don't have to figure this all out right now. So yeah, we are allowing, when we can get quiet with ourselves and quiet our mind, this is really when we can see these new possibilities come up. We can have this integration. And like I said, this can set many of us on a totally different journey than we thought we would be on. So big changes here. And for this full moon, what we should work on is about aligning the mind, the body, and the soul. This is really important. And we're seeing this in our world right now. I see so many hurt people that are so lost and so separated. And I can feel the separation from the root. I feel this is a time that we can step back a moment and be with ourselves, to sync our mind and our body and our soul, to listen to our intuition, to give each other space. You know, everybody is not going to understand us. And that's why we have to try to have clarity with them, to be clear with them. But then again, if they do understand us, they may not agree with us. And that's okay, because you may not agree with them. And it doesn't make you right and them wrong, or them right and you wrong. These are perspectives that we have. And this, you know, this is about remembering that we are all one. We are all connected. Ultimately, you know, when we're in the thick of it, we can't see that. But when we step out of it, out of the whole going on, when we step out of that situation, that's when we can see. We can see the bigger picture. We can see what is at play. We have to get out of, we have to learn how to stand in the middle of chaos than to be in the chaos, in the thick of it. We have to see bigger. And be patient with people. Have some compassion. You know, that's not hard. That is not hard at all. You can have, you can operate from your spirit. Operate from that. If you sit here and say that you're a spiritual being, and then you recognize that other people are spiritual beings too, and they're in this game, they're caught up in this, and they don't understand, and you're ugly to them. We have to really look. You talk about clarity. You can't say one thing and do another. Clarity. You have to be clear here. We also have to see the transitions that we have been making as well. We have to, again, this is reflection. This is a good time to reflect on ourselves. Uranus, his connection here with the moon and the sun is trying to awaken us to something that we need to see. And it's something very important, because we have been seeing this over and over. Our astrology has been showing us that there is an unfolding that's happening here. There is truths that's coming out, and more truths come out. We see the Pluto in Capricorn because we see this on a worldwide, not just in the United States, on a worldwide level of governments having problems of showing the actual dirtiness that happens within them. So we're seeing more and more, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to be seeing more of that come about. But for this full moon, it is a good time to go meditate, go be in nature. If you can, unplug. It is time to connect with yourself, be conscious of your body, mind, and soul alignment. Listen to that intuition. Let your body talk to you. We don't need constant distraction all the time. We need to have that time to be and to listen. To listen. Be like the water element. Be receptive. Be receptive. All right, that is it for the astrology part, and now we are going to move on to the tarot part, and let's see how we are going to wrap all of this up. I'll see you back in a moment.